Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatsMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Right, it's Friday. Friday's the day of the week we turn to the BonBon buddies over on Patreon and say, hey guys, vote us in a map. And they've gone with this one. Now, originally this was a request map from a Rev official who had seen it on the workshop, judging by the comments on the workshop page. They basically feel that it just hasn't had enough visibility. And so today we're going to give it a little bit of visibility. Now, there is one major talking point regarding this one, which is going to involve me doing somewhat of a, and bear with me on this one, I think you know me well enough now, somewhat of a comedy skit in the first half of the show. So yes, yeah, just play along with me, okay? We'll put it right in the second half of the show. It's fine, okay? It's a comedy skit, okay? Roll with me on that one. But that's not all of it. But before we do any of this stuff, we've got one little task for you to perform. That's right, clicking that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's map is Vicona by AVRAT KNADEN. I think that's close. The thumbnail, of course, is taken by night, which is the cruelest view of the island. The cruelest view. The start square is only about 25% build space there, but it's not the world's biggest build map anyway, is it? Look at this. It's fine. But what we have there, no mountains, so everything there is within tolerance for a build. Resources, it's all about forestry. There's nothing else down there at all. And if you happen to have Sunset Harbour, it is mostly about the shellfish with a little bit of anchovies around the coast. Again, not the most exciting, but that's fine. Off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, we'll be using the Waiheke map theme and the Waiheke colour correction, which is going to give it a proper tropical feel, which is all good. And there is a one-click collection as well, if we go across, have a little look at that. There's a few bits down here. We'll be using some UK roads, but yeah, it's fine. Okay, it's fine. There are tropical places with UK roads. I've got some rail assets there as well. Surface rock pack, leafy tree set, ash tree and beech tree. And that's your lot. That's all there is. That's all she said. Okay, down the ground level we have got the highways. So the highways, again, UK roads. We have got the sound barriers along there, which I'm only assuming is to keep the wildlife off of the road so they don't get trampled, they don't get crushed. They don't get crushed. Don't know what wildlife we've got here, but that's what I think the sound barriers are for. And yeah, so the network laying is actually pretty reasonable. A little splash of blue mantle from the wrong angle coming in from the tunnels. I cannot blame the creator for that. That's just one of those things from the wrong angle. Even on the top creators map, sometimes you can get a splash of blue mantle. The detailing around the tunnel entrances is just subtle and simple. Subtle and simple. Often been said about me, I feel. It's actually not necessarily so subtle, I know. Yeah, some potential rockfall going on there, but nothing on the road, which is again a bonus. And then we have just got some very slick. And I'll say the networking on this map is pretty slick. I don't think you're going to have any grumbles. I mean, especially with the roads, you're going to have no grumbles at all. Sorry, a little bit of bouncing around going on with the camera. It's controlling the camera by hand when you've got these invisible bumps underneath where you're actually, it just sucks it down. But I don't have time to record the cinematic because that would take me forever. Every single turn I've got to cinematize. I'm going with that one. So yes, it's all hand recorded. Now you may notice here there are a couple of rare exceptions with the highways where we have one or two trees underneath the road. Now we're well within the tree count, so these aren't going to make any difference at all. Well within the tree count, because obviously there's not a huge buildable build space, so most of the trees are, well, yeah, what you see. This is it. This is everything. And then we'll just head down towards it. Now we've got some nice custom bridges on today's map, and I don't think you're going to have any grumbles about those either. So a lot of your decision making on today's map when you come to rate the map at the end is going to be about the shape of the map, and they're probably about the playable size. If you like the shape of the map, then perhaps it doesn't matter too much that you can't build a huge city here. Perhaps. It's not super, as you can see also, it's not super smooth. Well, I'll get the lines of terrain on when we get to the second half of the show, so you can get a look at just how bumpy it is. But as you know, things tend to level out when you start putting buildings on them, and of course you can always use the smoothing tool yourself if that's what you're worried about. Heading along here where the highway is meeting up with the rail line for the first time, and you can see some very slick rail assets going on there. Very slick rail bridge. Then we have another tunnel. Another tunnel which we're going to nip through. Some rocks hanging over the edge there. That'd be a little bit concerning to me if I was an engineer, but I'm not. The perfect bridge. Again, we got some very slick bridge work on this one. Splash of blue mantle under there though, so there's a little bit of a score off for that. And then we're heading now. We're screeching our way now down towards the main buildable island. Now you may notice here we have a standalone rail section. So maybe they'll put the rail bridge in there. We'll be connecting up the rail later, possibly, maybe. And then as we head down here, we've got another perfect bridge, another perfect road bridge. Again, it's good, solid, quality work there with a little bit of a. Do you see the dent there? Okay, there's a tiny little dent there, which is for some bizarre reason not being picked up. But yeah, these things snap, and they can encroach into your game. A little bit of encroaching foliage again, using the word encroach twice or 3 times, you might say, with me confirming that. And then heading down into the start square. So that's your highway. Now we're going to have a look at the rail. Remember, bear with me please on this one, okay? But just bear with me. Right, so anyway, start square, partly cleared, which is very nice for getting building. Now the rail connects at the edge of the map here, and it's a super smooth railway. As you can see, it's just the way that the line's been put down is just smoothed out all the landscape along here. Absolutely beautifully so. Liking the way that the rail actually runs completely separate from the highway. On the map like this, it would normally be running side by side because there's not that much space, but I kind of like the way that it's drawn in a different angle. Going through a little tunnel there, so a nice little rail tunnel, especially liking the way that the rocks have been popped in there just to emphasize that. Over the little bit of the water area there, coming down here to another tunnel. Oh no, not a tunnel. Yeah, a little tunnel, just that little section there. And then it joins up with the highway just for this little stretch here. Cuts away from the highway at this point, and just smoops along through, and again cutting through some of the rocky land there. Unfortunately, we seem to be missing a rail bridge here. There's just it's a surprise. I mean, I thought there'd at least be a bridge there. And again, there should be a bridge around about here. Unfortunately, they seem to have forgotten to put that one in. At that point, we come back down to ground as we sweep in towards the start square. I'm loving these custom rail assets. They are absolutely beautifully on point and being used to the highest of standards. Coming along here, again, another missing rail section here. It's a shame because there was one there a few minutes ago. And then over here, now this is a perfect rail bridge. Come on, this is how you do the perfect rail bridge. Unfortunately, a tree just clipping through the underside of it there. And then we're heading into the start square, which can mean we can take an intermission and we'll come back and talk seriously about the rail right after this message.
Do you have trouble knowing how to start a new city? Do you need to return to the absolute basics just this once? Don't worry, I won't tell. Then you need BonBonB's Beginner's Guide to Your First City. Click the information button now.
And so back to Vicona by AVRAT KNADEN. Shipping routes are fine. Okay, so let's talk about missing assets. Yes, there are a few extra assets. I've subscribed to everything on that one-click collection, and we've got a missing tree, actually. the missing tree, the Apollo. There's a couple of their railway pillars, and then a few railway net segments as well. I mean, that's one item, isn't it? I do believe if we click across for those railway segments, it's so we're missing pillars. That'll be a one click, won't it? And then the trees will be a one click. So it's just 3 items missing. And so yeah, there's that. So you might want to find those just to fix the rail. It's not a big problem, but it's a problem. And then we have water flow in the start square. Well, there isn't really any water flow in the start square, but it's a long coastline in the start square, so you could probably draw from one end and pump into the other, and you probably won't poison your people. So there is that. Or alternatively, custom assets. Obviously. Map as a whole, you know what, I like the shape of this. I'm going to give credit for that. And I'm liking the shapes of the islands as well. These, little diddly rocky things. Little rocky outcrop there. I'm not sure if I like that so much. But, yeah, diddly rocky outcrop. Another diddly little island over here. Again, with some rocky detailing. Trees around the edges and nothing being drowned, which is unusual. Normally on a map like this, you find drowned trees everywhere. But no. They are AVRAT is indeed a decent map maker. Okay, like say, I'm just liking the shapes of it all. Now it is a bit bumpy. I'm liking the rock work just dotted here and there. It really does make the map come together. There is a togetherness with the map. But it is a bit bumpy. So let's have a little look with the lines on. So lines of terrain, you can see we've got all these squiggly lines everywhere. Let's come across to a different part of the map, and you can see it's exactly the same over here. All the squiggles and the bumps. And if we head into the start square, which is over here, even the cleared area, which is smooth, it is actually quite slopey heading down into the coast. So not the easiest map to build on. So if you're a beginner, then maybe this is going to be a bit beyond you. Possibly. Maybe. Possibly. Bit of a cutting there. Just noticed the cutting there. I'm pretty good with that. So there's some good stuff. There is definitely some good stuff on the map. We'll head over this way. So you've got the rail. I mean, the rail. Look, you can tell the rail work is going to be good work because that just feels good. This in itself feels good. So the map as a whole, if we had the rail on there, would feel like a solid map with the missing assets, which I didn't have. And I'm not reloading it. No. Yeah, I'm showing it as you would find it. And that's be that. Anyway, I think at this point we should nip down back to the start square. Oh, look, somebody's built a building. Let's have a look at this. Old friend of the show today. Here they go. And that old friend of the show is Armesto. I'm going to try and remember to link in the Skylines talk we had with Armesto. Really lovely guy, Spanish-Irish. and just, yeah, amazing. That's amazing assets. I think this is my favourite Armesto asset of all time. I'm just loving it. Anyway, factoids, because factoids, completely random one today. I asked Google for a random one. And, okay, the abbreviation of Mrs., being MRS, originated as a contraction of the honorific mistress, the feminine of Mr. or Master, which was originally applied to both married and unmarried women. The split into Mrs. for married women from Ms and Miss began during the 17th century. So there you go. Before the 17th century, if you're a lady, you were a Mrs. or a mistress, I guess. I don't know. I would say Torre, Hercón, Coruña by Armesto. I didn't mention it. My Spanish, as you know, is as good as my Irish. My Celtic is as good as my German. And my German is definitely as good as my English, so I'm obviously fluent in all languages. Anyway, if you're still here, well done. Your chance to vote on the map. Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count because at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now in the top right hand corner of your screen or the link in the description. Take it to the voting page where you can vote for free. But what do I think of today's map? Well, aesthetically, look, I like the shape. Oh, honk, thank you for that. I like the shape. That's one honk for 4 stars. Yeah, no. Anyway, yes, it's almost a 4-star map. I think it just lacks a little bit of finesse. Like, I would like to have seen just something, just to bring it up a little bit. But what we've got is pretty reasonable. And so I'm going to go for a high 3 stars. Detailing. Look, with that amount of missing rail, it's a big omission. Got a little bit of trees on the line, that sort of thing. I'm going to go 2 stars. I'm going to go to the top end because I think we're talking about a high 3 normally here. And for gameplay potential, even with the missing rail, I think it's probably still just about an interesting play. So I'm going to go for a low 3. I might have been touching 4 stars. Might have been where the rail assets there. Vicona by AVRAT KNADEN is an interesting archipelago. And I'm interested by it. And it's fine. It's fine. We're all allowed to make a mistake. Apart from me. Because if I make a mistake, you all pull me up on it. And I don't blame you in the slightest. Anyway, let's cut this out, shall we? And get to the end of the show. If you're here, you are part of the 20 and out elite. Use the word of the day to prove that in the comments. And I'll be back tomorrow with our Saturday map. And it's by a creator we did a week or so ago. And that was pretty good too.